Welcome, Alyssa Welsh.
Thank you.
So I wanted to tell you what actually brought me to ask you to come on, and what it was because first Heather said something about, oh, why don't you ask Alyssa? And I was like, okay, so I was scrolling through your Instagram and I was just like, and I knew you ran, but then I was like, race. Whoa!
Overload.
How many? That's 1,000. I was like, so how many races have you actually done?
Oh, I don't know. Probably a lot of the ones you saw on Instagram are my 5Ks and stuff. I did start. This will actually be my 5th year of doing half marathons. So.
Oh wow.
2015, my best friend and I, who I train with, who I work out with, I run with, she's my person for a lot of things. We were like, hey, let's just try a half marathon down at the beach. So since 2015, we've done a half marathon at least once a year. So I think I'm up to 7 halves and 1 full. So I think we have another full on the docket for April.
Okay.
So
where's that going to be at?
We're thinking Nashville.
Nashville? Ooh,
yeah, figured
nice.
If we're going to do one more big full, make it somewhere different.
So it'll be through the city and stuff, right?
I think
Take
so.
it through there?
Yeah, it's the rock and roll, so I feel like they do, I think they have music on every corner.
Yeah.
Live bands. So.
That's pretty cool. What kind of, what got you into it? Because, let's take it back a little bit because, what amazed me the most was, you were there that first night.
Yes, I was.
Heather, you know what I mean? So
I remember that night.
And I remember how you used to be, you were always talking about drinking.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then seeing you now, it's just it's a different person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So what kind of what brought you to that?
I don't know. I think I was still the same person in college. I think I just had a lot of different priorities in my lifestyle. So playing hockey, I feel puts you in a different mindset. I played ice hockey for University of Delaware, so I was just around a different type of atmosphere where drinking was just part of it.
Right.
So with all the drinking came all the eating and all of the terrible habits that I totally developed post college as well. So it took me it was right before my 23rd birthday. I was looked at a picture. It was a month before my birthday. I looked at a picture of myself. I was at a family reunion and I was like, oh my God, that is not me.
Right.
You just get so used to seeing yourself in the mirror every day and then you're just you don't really see those little changes or big changes, unfortunately for some people, for myself. So I just started, my friend was going to this personal trainer who I still see to this day, at least once a week. And she was like, why don't you go and try it out? Yeah. I think she had made a couple comments before, hey, maybe you should try to do this. Inadvertently saying, I think you should drop some weight. Yeah. AKA get healthy. So I started with him and I started working out. He got me eating right. And it was just a learning process. I think it's funny, I went to college for health and physical education. So I studied nutrition, I studied exercise science, all the right things, but
you just didn't apply it, right?
No, I think I really didn't. I feel I would have really appreciated my major more when I was in it, that aspect of things. I think if I had experienced that kind of light bulb before, but I just was oh, that's the stuff they taught us. So it was just really a matter of just getting my life in order. And I think I still use that picture as my before picture, when people do their transformation stuff. And I just always look at that and I'm oh my God, I cannot believe that was me. I just let myself completely go. So, since right before my 23rd birthday, I feel I've changed my priorities, my lifestyle. Not that I don't have a beer, some wine, or some seltzers.
Oh, yeah.
But it's just not in the forefront of my head. So I think me just taking care of myself and being healthy and feeling I can be successful from being healthy, I think is a huge mind shift. So.
Yeah. And it was a lot of that, how much of it came from the trainer? Because I don't train people anymore, but I've trained at gyms and all that kind of stuff, and I think I can probably count on my hands how many have been successful. You know, because I'm looking at social media now and I see how many are like have fallen off.
Right.
I'm just like, man, they did so good, you know, but then now it's just like, what happened?
Yeah.
And I have one guy who's training, like, I mean, I was with him, he lost, about 60 something pounds, with me. And, so we switched, like fitness goals and stuff. And then, things happened at the gym and he left and then I left. And he started going with this other guy, and I kind of see this other guy taking credit for everything, which is not a big deal to me. I don't really care.
Yeah.
Because I'm not in it anymore. Because I just had this thing where I was putting out so much effort, and like I was trying to figure out what meal plans work the best for these people, what workouts are going to work the best for these people. Sometimes I was up real late or real early in the morning, stuff like that. And then these people wouldn't even do it. Yeah. And they were lying to me.
Yeah. I can imagine.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what was it, just the trainer, or was it like a mix of things that really kind of kicked you in the butt? Like, was it that picture or like the trainer, or was it both?
I think it was kind of like a combination. Yeah. I think he's a really good motivator for me. Like, you know how you kind of just like vibe with certain people, or certain people just know how to motivate you or encourage you in the right way. I think he is definitely a unique guy, and definitely I don't think works for everybody, his personality, but his personality has always worked great for me. There are moments where I've totally like yelled at him and I'm like, oh my God, I can't stand him right now. Like, why is he doing this to me? And then I'm like, thank God he did that to me. Yeah. So, he definitely, early on when I started going to him, I just felt like he believed in me. So I was like, all right. And I didn't want to disappoint him, you know, like there were times where we would go through like, you know, like a couple months and I would weigh in every Wednesday or like once a week or something. And then we would kind of like fall off from that because I would get like all flustered. But he was always good about checking in, and he was consistent for me. And then not too long after that, I met my best friend, and she actually was kind of in the process where she was in the same place that I was when I was like right before my 23rd birthday, and she just kind of was like, I need to get myself in order. So I actually started doing exercises with her, and we would, you know, like do stuff after school, and I would help her lose weight. And I felt like ever since then, she definitely has been the one to keep me on track. So, you know, there's days where I'm like, oh my God, I really don't want to do this. Like this morning I woke up at 5:15 to work out at 6 a.m. Yeah. And I was just like, my eyes were barely open. Yeah. So, but I met her, we did our workout, and it's done for the day. So, I just think that she is also that type of person that is a good motivator and encourager for me, because she's there by my side through everything. So like on days where she's not feeling it, you know, you kind of have to like buck up and be like, all right, we got this, and you know, vice versa. So I probably met her about like a year and a half after like I started training with my trainer, and you know, I started bringing her with me. We started doing runs, and so it just has like gone from there.
So what kind of got you into running? Is it just something that you started doing, or like did you always just want to do it, or you know what I mean?
If you talked to me like 6 years ago, I would never even guess that I would have run 5Ks or half marathons or a full marathon. So no, I definitely never saw myself as a runner. I did a race on Sunday, just a 5K down at the beach, and I'm like looking at these females, because I can't really compare myself to a guy, and I'm like, I am not built like any of them. Like, runners are real thin and slender, and their legs are way long. I'm the complete opposite of all of those things. So I always tell people I'm built for power, not speed. But my friend Bree is the one that got us into running. She before she kind of started going through that journey with me, she had done like, they have in Wilmington, they have like the marathon relays. So you do like a 6.5 mile thing, and then you tag off to the next person on your team, and then as a team of 4 you complete a marathon. So that first year that I met her, she wanted to do it. So I was like, all right, well, I'll train with you, I'll run right next to you, and we'll get it done. And that would have been like my longest race to date, 6.5 miles, which was like insane to me at the time. So we trained for that and we ran that in May. It was like on Mother's Day, I think. And I think ever since then, it's just like, oh, we can do this. Like, we're not too bad.
Yeah.
So it just has escalated from there. And it's just something that's really consistent. I think it's something that, it's obviously like an individual thing. I mean, we always run together, like side by side. People are always like, "Do you guys finish the race together?" And like, yeah. Because there's moments in a race, especially like our full marathon, for example, we talk about it all the time. Like mile 12, I literally was like done. Like I was like in tears.
Just those words makes me want to throw up.
Right,
mile
me too.
12?
Me too sometimes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So, and I had done half marathons before that.
The word mile just makes me
right. So it's like, I don't know, like there's moments where I'm like, oh my God, I could totally be done. I could totally just sit on the side and I'd be fine. Yeah. But she's like, no, we got this. And then, so it's one of those things where I feel like we feed off of each other and we've been very successful with it. And we're not the type out there setting PRs and, I mean, we're not going to be your fastest runners, but I think we do it because it just makes us feel good. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And, because you have like a hockey background. Mm-hmm. So, of course, like you're more like power. I mean, you had you were a goalie though, right?
Or no, it was defense.
Defense. Okay, so you did, so you still had to have some kind of endurance.
Yeah, absolutely.
So did you run or like, did you train for it at all? Or?
And I always say like, oh my God, if I had been in the shape that I'm in now, when I was in college, I feel like I would have been so much of a better athlete. Right. Like, it's insane. Like, I totally kept up great in hockey. I mean, I wasn't like an all-star player out there, but I can hang. Yeah. And I've always been a strong skater, so I think that was something that, like, that endurance type of stuff then was, like, not a big deal. But, yeah, I always, like, sometimes I, like, kick myself in the butt. I'm like, oh, my God. If I just, like, worked out and ran and, didn't eat crap on the weekends or every day, like I could have been a better athlete. Yeah. So
definitely. I mean, I tell that to like my nephews and stuff that want to be better at sports. I'm like, yeah, you'll have people tell you, oh, you get better at this sport by playing it over and over and over. Right. Like you have baseball players, they play all year round. Right. Like, it's got to get tiring. Yeah. I was like, okay, but that doesn't help you get stronger, faster, or anything like that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, those are the real guys that are actually, like, even when they're 12, 13. Right. You know what I mean? They're lifting weights and doing that kind of stuff. And that's why I think sometimes they're, their mom, like, brings them over here to make me train them or whatever. Like, it's fun. I like doing that. I like training athletes more so than people losing weight. Yeah. Because athletes know what they want.
A little more goal driven.
And they know what they want and they're willing to do whatever it takes. Right. People that want to lose weight, not so much. Yeah. You got to force them to do it. And for me, it was just kind of like, I just been through so many people. And I was just like, ugh, I don't want this anymore. Yeah. It's just, I don't
exhausting.
know. Yeah, it really was. I mean, but it's funny because, like, when I was relatively good soccer player, I hated running. But I was good at soccer. Right. I was good at soccer, so I was like, I'm still going to play soccer, even though I hate running. But then I had a kid on my team that would run cross country. He would do his cross country practice and then just run into our scrimmage.
Yeah, I believe it.
And I'm like,
these cross country runners are crazy.
I'm like, dude's a freak, And so one time, and probably the fastest I've ever, like, I'm more of a sprinter, and I always like pride myself on that, because I can sprint, I just can't run long distance. Right. I get winded and stuff. But this dude, when we started we're gonna run a mile, I think, for soccer practice. And I was like, Ryan, I'm going to keep up with you. He was like, you sure? Yeah, I was like, yeah, I really want to. And then that's where it comes in where, like, I tried to stay next to him the whole time. Right. Because his pace was, like, just starting off was a sprint.
Yeah, I believe it.
I was like, and I think I ran, like, a little bit over 5 minute mile. Yeah. Which is, like,
that's
record.
insane.
Like, yeah.
That's quick.
Yeah. And because I think that's his like that was his like regular
his
pace
regular
was
pace.
like I think he did run a 4 something in his life, but I think he only did it once. But I mean, I think in the 5 to close to 6 range was his
regular.
I was like, never again.
Yeah.
I was like, I wanted to throw up when we started.
Right.
You know, but no, I hate running, and I have so much respect for people that do that stuff, even for fun.
Yeah.
Like 5Ks and stuff.
Yeah.
I always think I can do it, but I'm like, I don't really want to.
Yeah, you gotta want to. I think
you have to. You know,
yeah.
I mean, I did well when I went to Vegas to get my personal training certification, and we had to go through all these tests, like the most sit-ups, the most push-ups, all that kind of stuff. You would think I would win that. But being a bodybuilder, I'm used to contracting. So if I'm trying to do a lot of push-ups, I can't do that many because my chest starts to fill up with blood. Yeah. So I actually won the running.
Wow.
Yeah.
Your cross-country buddy would have been proud.
Yeah. But I think it's because like you were talking about out there, like the heat difference.
Yeah.
The humidity here, and I was used to training here.
Yeah.
And then going out to, it was in Vegas. So going out to that dry heat, I just had a second breath.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is weird.
Right.
I remember it. I was like,
it's totally different.
I was like, whoa. I was like, I'm not tired yet.
Yeah.
You know, so me and this kid from Jersey were always like competing against each other. Whereas everyone else was just like
cruising,
doing whatever, you know. I don't think more than half didn't become personal trainers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they just all wanted to party.
Oh.
Yeah.
Seems fitting.
I mean, it was fun, you know, just going out for one night because they were like, okay, you can go out on the last night.
Right.
Because we were there for a week and it was like this hell week. And so one dude like got alcohol poisoning like the night before our test. And he was from like Utah or something like that. So I had people from his school in my group, and they were so embarrassed.
Oh, wow.
I was like, and the dude came out like on the stretcher, and he was like 120 pounds soaking wet, and he was in there drinking by himself.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, dude, they said we can go out at the end of the week. You can't wait till then.
Right.
You want to be a trainer?
He's obviously not in the right mindset.
Jeez, it was right the night before our test.
Right.
So, oh my gosh, but this is funny that I just remember that because whenever I think of running, I just think of that moment because that's probably the last time I ran actually.
Yeah, like really ran.
If I really, like sometimes I'll sprint with Ziva, but other than that,
yeah,
long distance not for me. And you could tell by looking at me. But so, do you just run or do you train like anything else, like weight wise, like weightlifting wise?
Yeah, I normally do. I mean, I normally go to my trainer still once a week. During the school year, I mean, that's most of my life is spent at school. During the school year, I would go to him on Wednesday mornings, and then every other day of the week, if we weren't doing like a short run around like the neighborhood around our school, we set up, I mean, I'm a phys ed teacher, so we have the whole gym as our space. Yeah. So we have like ropes and kettlebells and all kinds of stuff, and we would just roll through like any type of interval training. So normally like full body circuits, stuff that's not like too crazy long. One thing that I think like my friend and I pride ourselves on is like we never do the same workout twice. Like it's not like I'm not the type of person that can do like I've seen it and I know it's so common and it works for people. It just doesn't work for either of us where it's like, all right, for these next 2 weeks, this is what you're doing on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Like my brain and my body just doesn't like react to that the best. So, most of the time, her and I would write up our own workouts, and we just roll through them. Most recently, I never thought I'd be the type to like watch a video workout and follow along with it, but we got this like really like cheap deal on Beachbody because that's like the thing now. Everybody's into that. So it's something where you can access it like on your computer, your phone, and it was just like we just kind of wanted a different like change of pace. Like you don't ever want to feel like you're.
What's going on, guys? Hope you're enjoying the show. I just wanted to bring up, like, we live in a world now where people struggle to know what's healthy, what's not healthy, what's good for you, what's not good for you. Who knows? All I know is that the supplement and health products created by Run Everything Labs and sold by Strong Tower Nutrition, you can go and find those on stnutrition.com. They can provide you with plant-based nutrients, energy, and all-around better performance in your life. These supplements and this podcast are brought to you by stnutrition.com. Strong Tower Nutrition has what you need to get stronger, leaner, and increase your energy. So if you go to stnutrition.com to start bettering yourself and bring a new light to your lifestyle, podcast listeners will get 20% off if you type in promo code STRONG, STRONG. Strong. That's all it is. So all you got to do is go to the promo code section after you're close to done checking out. Type in STRONG, and you're going to get 20% off an individual product. And we just ask you guys that you continue to support the podcast. Go ahead and support stnutrition.com. We love you. We thank you. And hope you enjoy the rest of the episode with Alyssa Welsh.
Stuck in a routine or like stuck in like, oh my God, I feel like this is like the same thing we did yesterday. So just something where we kind of can go into it blind and you just follow along. And there are really good workouts on there. There's lots of different trainers and stuff. So it's something where I think it's just like all about just shocking your body in different ways. So normally on the days that we don't run, we're doing something. So I'm normally doing something at least 6 days a week. So I'm never, and it's nothing like where I'm spending a couple hours at the gym. Like it's normally short, sweet, hard. I'm dying at the end. The one we did this morning was, I think, 30 minutes. And I was like, I was crushed. So, I mean, it's just, I don't know. I think it's just all about finding stuff that works for you. Like people always say like, oh, I want to do what you do so that I can get thin and lose weight and all this stuff.
What do you do?
Right. Exactly. And it's like it's hard because what we do doesn't really work for everybody. We kind of like have gotten into a flow, but it's also something where there's so many times throughout the year where you're like, all right, we got to change this. Like whether it be like what we're eating for breakfast or like what we're having for lunch, like I feel like we're always like changing and fluctuating. Like especially depending on like when our training is for our half marathons, like we normally train for them in like October, November. We run in December, and then we're like still eating like we're running like for the next month and a half, and we're like, crap, we gotta fix that. So it's like it's just a matter of like, I mean, there's like ebbs and flows to everything that I feel like nutrition and exercise is for everybody. Like I feel like people probably look at like my friend and I, like people that know both of us well, and say like, oh my God, they're just always so like in shape, like it's so easy for them, but it's not. It's not. Like I feel like there's so many days during the week where you're like, oh, all right, I gotta eat better, like I gotta stay on my stuff, or like I don't know, we're always constantly looking for different ways to be better. So I think that's some people, I think the people that don't stay on the train are the people that have a hard time with that.
It is.
So
it's more, it has nothing to do with, oh, I can't do that, blah, blah, blah. It's because it's not a physical thing. You know what I'm saying? I tell people all the time that it's all up here.
Oh, absolutely.
It's about who's thinking about why they're doing it. It's how bad does someone want it? It's all those little cliche things that people say, like how bad do you want it, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff.
It is.
It's why I always asked when I used to take on like clients and stuff, I'm like, what's your why? They're like, what?
Right.
They're like, I want to lose weight. I'm like, no, there's something, you know, and then I would dig until I finally came to the root of everything. Like, woman had issues with her, like, childhood and stuff like that.
Right.
Like, that took a lot of digging. You know what I'm saying? I kept going after it, you know what I mean? Every workout, I would ask her why. I was like, what are you doing this for? You know what I mean? Even I have my own why. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Everybody does.
And like for you, like you look at that picture, mine was ever since I was little. You know, I was a little boy. I was a little kid, short, skinny. You know what I mean? Had like, I was skinny everywhere else, but I had like a pot belly. You know what I mean? And I was athletic and stuff, but then like it was just whatever. It was a regular kid body.
Yeah.
You know, and I think I talked about this on the podcast before, but I was in 8th grade and my soccer season was over, and they pulled me up to varsity. They said, "Oh, we want you to finish out the season with us," and I said, "Okay." And I was so excited. You know, so a couple practices in and stuff. So soccer, instead of wearing like pennies, we played shirts and skins.
Right.
Took off my shirt. Guys took off their shirts. I was looking at them, chest hair, 6-pack. I'm like looking at them. I'm like, I'm about to cry. No lie. You know what I mean? And I just remember looking down at myself, and I like tried to suck in and like play like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that every time I try and like not wake up or say I don't feel like it, I always think of that.
Yeah.
You know, and people look at me now and look at my bodybuilding pictures and stuff, whatever. I'm like, you don't know what I went through. Right.
A lot of people don't know. Yeah.
You don't know.
Everybody's got their own story.
Oh my gosh! Yeah. I think back, especially my bodybuilding days. The times I had to wake up to do cardio and the times I didn't want to, you know, the times I didn't want to outweigh the other times. Right. You know what I'm saying? But I still did it. Right. And it's still, in my first show, I didn't use a coach. I did it myself. Yeah. With nowhere near the knowledge I have now. Right. You know, but, you know, I was driven. Yeah. You know, I remember working out, and I think I had my friend with me or whatever, and I was prepping for the show, and then he was like, "Come on, you want to win?" Blah blah blah. And then it went from a workout to a war. You know what I'm saying? So the rest of the workout, between guys and girls. Oh yeah. So the rest of the workout, I was like, I'm gonna win. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if you ever seen a clip of Lou Ferrigno when he's training for like one of the big shows or whatever. And he has barbells and he's doing shoulder press. He's like, Arnold. You know what I mean? Because he's like, he wants to beat him. Right. He's like, I'll put more weight. I want to beat him. You know what I mean? That kind of stuff's like, that's what inspired me. That kind of stuff. You know, and a lot of people, and going back to that, like, way you work out it's so weird for people because they're like, wait, what is that? That's not CrossFit. That's not powerlifting. Right. That's not. They have to put a label. It has to. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It has to have like a label. Right. Because when I was training people, and they'll see the way I look, oh, I don't want to look like you. I'm like, well, you're not. I can guarantee you that you're not. It's
a different process.
You know what I'm saying? And one, I don't train people like I train. Right. You know what I mean? I think that's a misconception about like trainers and stuff. A lot of trainers do that. They train the way they train. Right. I don't think they should, depending on the person.
Yeah, it's an individualized.
It is. It is. You got to figure out like which. You know what I'd love though? I used to have like cops and military and all this kind of stuff come in and act like it was nothing. Like, you know, so it'd be just a consult. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, and they're guys. So I'm not assuming they're gonna train with me or whatever. I'm just gonna put them through a workout. And I was like, okay, do you have any like limits or no, man? I can do everything. Right. When's the last time you worked out? I was like, when's the last time you worked out? Oh, back in early 90s. Well, I'm like, oh, okay. Right. You know, within 5 minutes, they're in the bathroom throwing up. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I did that on purpose. You know, when I was first started training, I usually do it on accident. Just like it used to be an accident. I would be like, oh, I'm so like, I didn't mean to make it throw up. That's not my goal. You know? My bad. So the longer I did it, I kind of got a vibe from them. Right. Where I can tell, like, okay, they're not feeling this. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is too hard for them.
Like certain
even though they're saying that types. It's not. Heather!
She's like,
yeah.
Bluebirds.
My dog's banging on the door and my wife's not getting her. That's what we're yelling at. But, I mean, I don't know. it's just, so why do you think, like, people need a label for something for them to do?
I don't know. I've never been that type of person. I'm so, like, anti-CrossFit and all that stuff. Like, I've done yoga and I love stuff like that. And I've done, like, kickboxing classes. And, like, I've tried to, like, you know, put a variety of different movements into my life with, like, fitness classes and stuff. So, but I've always just kind of, like, sank back into, like, my own thing, because I don't know if it's a control thing or I just like to do it on my own time.
Yeah.
But it's funny, like, my best friend and I, we both teach at the same school, and for years they've been asking, like, since her and I started working out, basically, like, we want you to work out with us. Like, we want you to, like, make us look like you, kind of thing. Yeah. So, like, for the longest time, we've had, like, a large handful of teachers that we worked with and people that are like, we want to do a workout with you. So it wasn't until this past spring, we actually ran, like, a fitness class, like, once a week. And we tried to do, kind of like you said, like, we weren't training them the same way that we train, but it was like, all right, we can do the same types of movements. We can do, but we really tried to focus on making it, like, individualized for those people. So, like, we met with, like, each one, and we're like, is there anything that, like you said, like, are there any limitations, any restrictions, like any injuries that we don't need to make worse in your life, kind of thing. And we did, like, there was a really core group of mostly females. We had one guy that came to us. He was great. And they came every week. We did it, I think, for like 10 or 12 weeks. Yeah. And it was really cool because I think it was kind of like a glimpse into what we do, and it wasn't a label. Like, it wasn't like, you know, they would kind of ask us, like, oh, like, what type of stuff are we going to do? And we're like, we just do, like, circuits, intervals, like, all kinds of stuff. We just do everything. So... I know that they really enjoyed that, and I hope that's something we can pick back up with in the fall. But it's funny because it's some of those people are like, oh my God, we're dying. I was dead 2 minutes in. How do you girls do this? Like, so I think it was kind of like a cool thing for us because we kind of, like, shared our journey with them. Like, between my friend and I, we've lost a total of, like, 100 plus pounds maybe. So, like, we went through it. And, you know, some of those people knew us after we kind of, like, you know, hit our peak there and, like, you know, made that weight loss. But I think it was just, like, a cool thing for them to see, like, what we do. And it was also cool for us to be like, oh, we can kind of help some people out here. Like, back in the day, I did get certified as a personal trainer when I was, like, not getting a full-time teaching job. So that was kind of one of my, like, my backup plans. I was like, it would be really cool for me to help somebody because there were so many people that helped me, like, get to where I am. So it's something that I still, like, we joke about, like, we would love to, like, start our own business one day, her and I, and just like tear it up and, you know, help people because we went through it. Everybody's got their own journey, and I think it's something that we've been successful with for ourselves. So we want to share that. Like, we want people to know, like, you can do it. You just literally just have to do it. Like, you just,
I mean, exactly. It's just getting started.
Kind of like you said, have a goal. And just work for it.
I mean, really sitting there and think about, like, why you want to do it. It can't just be, I want to lose weight.
Just to lose weight,
You know,
there's got to be an underlying.
It can't just be that, because then you change your mind.
Right.
You know, you see some food and you're like, oh, maybe tomorrow. You know what I mean?
Totally.
I mean, I'm guilty of that.
Oh, absolutely. You know I've been through
it. Yeah. But and I was gonna say one of the, cause just seeing those little victories, you know, when you work with people like that, and some of my best moments were with older people. Mm-hmm. Like, the oldest I've worked with was like 85, and the dude was trying. Yeah, I tried to not. I didn't want to do anything.
You didn't make him throw up, did you?
No. We did mostly body weight stuff. Yeah. But he was like, "Oh, I want to use those weights." I was like talking to the dumbbells.
Right.
I was like, "Oh man, I don't know."
Yeah.
Because he would shake like this.
Right.
You know. So he was having dumbbells, and I had him. So instead of holding like parallel, we had him neutral.
Right.
He held it a lot easier, and he shook less. And he was just shoulder pressing. He just loved it.
Yeah.
He was like, "Oh yeah."
Probably changed his life.
You know what I mean? One of the best moments though. Because just recently, well, not recently, but earlier this year or last year, I had an older lady who just started with me. And of course her goal was to lose weight, you know, but she really just wanted to be able to bend down and pick up her grandkids and all that kind of stuff, right? And I made her squat, deadlift, you know, that kind of stuff. Yeah. She hated deadlifting. She didn't mind squatting, but deadlifting, she hated it. Really? You know?
I always love a good deadlift.
Yeah. But maybe 3 months in, she came in for our session, like, with the biggest smile on her face. I'm like, what happened? Because she usually come in all mad and stuff, like, oh, I'm doing this again. You know? And she came in with the biggest smile on her face. And I was like, what happened to you? She was like, guess what I did? She was like, my grandson fell, and I was able to do what you said for the deadlift, and I picked him up with no problem. Yeah. She was like, my back felt fine, my knees felt great.
That's awesome.
And I picked him up and I held him, and I started tearing up.
Yeah.
And then when she told me that, I started tearing up.
Right.
I was like, that's why. And I wish I had more moments like that, because that's what kept me going doing training.
Absolutely.
Just those little things, like just her picking up her grandson.
Right.
And she couldn't do it before.
Yeah.
You know, and all because of, and people say, oh, don't deadlift and don't squat or whatever. Like, what?
Yeah, functional movements.
I mean? Yeah, it is.
Absolutely.
But people would argue that deadlift's not a functional movement. I'm like, how's it not?
Yeah.
They're like, oh, you should do hang cleans and power
I was going to say clean and jerks definitely are functional, right? For real life.
I'm like, yeah, but to do those, you have to pick the weight up first.
Right.
So a deadlift is going to help you with that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I actually heard that from a strong man, and I was surprised that he said that. But anyway, I guess that's the way that he deadlifts.
Right.
You know what I mean? If you're doing a deadlift to lift heavy weight, that's different.
Just for weight.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a different thing. But the deadlift in general, I think, is, you know, I use it for athletes. I use it for old people, you know, all that kind of stuff. But I was going to get into, like, because you say you're anti-CrossFit.
Yeah.
So what anti are you about it? Like, what is it that you don't like about it?
On a personal level, I think I went to a total of, like, 2 CrossFit gyms, aka 2 CrossFit classes in my life.
So you got experience doing it.
Yeah, so the one that I think, like, stuck out with me the most, I, like, could not walk the week after. And, like, this was well into my journey after losing, like, over 60 pounds. I felt like I was pretty strong. Like, we were running a lot. We were working out a lot. And I just tried out one class, and I just, like, did something to my back, which I'd never done before. I mean, I played ice hockey for years. I mean, I could have easily done that playing ice hockey, and I never did. So it's like, I just think that I know I'm not going to knock all of CrossFit, but I know that for the general, like, average person, it might not be an athlete or might not have a lot of experience and know about, you know, muscle groups and movements and safe things and how to actually do proper form, because I'm, like, huge on form. Like, I think, like, why not? You just kind of have to be safe for yourself. I just think that they go into it kind of guns blazing, and they're like, oh yeah, I just you know, did some Olympic lifts, and I can do my chin-ups and this and that with weight. And I just think I think the atmosphere can sometimes be, from an outsider's point, is that it's just a lot of heavy, aggressive, like, explosive movements that are just not suitable for some people's body types, or if they're not doing it properly, I just think it's not safe.
Right.
So I know that there's so many people that have gained so much success from CrossFit, and that's kind of like their outlet and their thing. Like how I run, they have their CrossFit. So like, I think if done properly, absolutely, it's great. But I think for the average person, they shouldn't be thrown around Olympic lifts, and if it's not really, like, honed in on their form. Like, I think form is key with that, and I just think sometimes in bigger groups in fitness classes, I think that's lost. And I was actually, I don't know what type of article it was, but it was one of those, like, headlines that kind of popped up on the internet, and it was like kind of that same thing I just said. Like, people go to fitness classes, but they're leaving not with the proper skill all the time. like, sure, I could go into a fitness class, you could go into a fitness class, and you know the proper form to squat.
Right.
Some people don't.
Exactly.
And some people's bodies, like, their muscles are just not, they don't have that training to know, like, oh, my knee shouldn't be collapsing in. Yeah. Like, I shouldn't be over top of my toes. Like, so I think that those bigger group fitness classes, if not done properly for individuals, is like not okay. Yeah. It's just not safe.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. I mean, you you hit it on the head for me. I mean, because I think the same thing. I think, and I think it depends on the gym too. Like
absolutely. Yeah. And I'm sure there's amazing coaches out there. I don't doubt that.
Yeah.
But
and that's the thing too. Like, they kind of give that to almost anyone, like the whole CrossFit coach thing. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you could argue the same thing about a personal trainer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I've seen some awful.
I'm sure.
I'm like, don't compare yourself to me.
How'd you get a job?
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But no, I think the same thing. Like, I think they should have phases of like beginners learning the Olympic lift. If they're gonna use Olympic lifting, like don't put it in one of the workouts that someone just started. You know what I'm saying? Like, have phases. Yeah. So you got the first phase, you got people learning how to Olympic lift with just the barbell. Right. You know what I'm saying? That kind of thing. And then the second phase, you have people that mastered that and then actually doing the movement within a workout. Right. You know, and then you just have the regular people that know what they're doing. But then, like, you can't, you can't just throw people doing snatches and, like, cleans
jerks
and
all kinds of stuff.
Gosh.
Yeah. Well,
you know what I'm saying?
I think it's sports, and I teach sports. I teach phys ed, so I think my mindset is I've always been trained progression. So like, I never, for my students, I teach middle school, so I have 6th through 8th grade, like the skills that we teach within just one unit for any skill, any sport, you're not just throwing them in right off the bat into a game. Like, okay, if we want to play basketball, how do we move the basketball up the court? You got to dribble it. So we literally work on every cue, every form of dribbling before you teach them how to shoot. Because you know all the kids want to do is, I want to shoot.
You just want to shoot.
That's the last skill that you learn. Because you got to get everything else.
I'd be like, why do you want to shoot when you don't even know how?
Right. So I don't know. I think exercise is the same way. Like, I think back to exercises that I did. And I have a list in my phone of, I used to write down, I still do mostly write down every exercise I do. Yeah. So I go back and I look at them and I'm like, oh my God, I was only doing like, in like a body weight circuit, I was doing, I don't know, 5 push-ups. Yeah. And I did maybe 3 rounds of that. And now I'm, crushing 15 push-ups and I'm doing 6 rounds. So it's like, I don't know. It's just something that you have to build up to. And I think it's not only for safety of your body, but it's just also for confidence too. Like, I mean, if you talked to me 6 years ago and tried to give me 15 push-ups and you told me to do that, I would probably cry because I knew I couldn't do them. So I don't know. I just think CrossFit I think if done right, I think it's perfect. But I think, like you said, like, it has to be grouped and progressive, and it just, I mean, it is.
Well, it's like too, like, my niece Kayla, she does it, and I asked her, I was like, cause what was she talking about? She was doing I think she was doing like a power clean or a hand clean or something like that, and I was like, oh, how much weight do you use? Like, do they have like percentages to like? Right. She was like, no, we just use whatever. I'm like, oh, what? Right. For that kind of movement, you just use whatever. Yeah. Whatever works. Right. Because they're doing it for a certain amount of reps. They're like, oh, she said we did it for like 30 to 50 or something like that. Right. And I'm like, and you're in what? Probably. A lot of people don't believe in percentages or whatever. I'm a big percentage person. Yeah. Because I do a lot of powerlifting also, which a lot of powerlifters do the, I can't even remember what it's called. I don't know.
I'm not a powerlifter. Can't help you there.
I gotta Google it because I forget what it's called. They use the it's a something method.
I mean, I will say on a personal level, if I'm doing like a like an interval circuit or something like that, I normally will start with like my lightest weight and then I just go up from there. So it's something that even me as someone who does the same types of movements and uses those types of weights, like I don't always start with the heaviest weight. Like I think that's kind of like the stigma with CrossFit is you just you go for the fences there on your weight.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll figure that out later.
It'll come to you.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was called, but anyway. But yeah, so I like percentages. I mean, and it's the same thing. Like with me, like I'll do deadlift, bench, squat, and shoulder press, overhead press, and it's not the best, you know. But since I've been doing it for such a long time, I wouldn't tell a beginner to do that stuff.
Right.
Especially going as heavy as I go, because now like I'm only doing like the most I do is 5 reps.
Right. So you're obviously going heavy.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if I do any more, it's funny because I think about when I was bodybuilding, I was doing 20 reps of squats, blah, 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 stuff like that. You know, I do 8 reps. I'm like,
right.
You know what I mean? I'm like, oh my gosh, this is awful. But I don't know. It's just now in this time in my life, I just love lifting heavy. You know, and I just want to get a lot stronger.
Yeah.
I'm tired of just looking like it, and like
I actually feel like it.
I just want to, yeah. And I just want to be. I don't know. I just feel that way right now.
Yeah.
You know, before I never cared about being strong. But right now, like in my life, I don't know why. I just want to be stronger.
Well, I think, I know I definitely don't lift as heavy as you do. I would die. I can't even chest press. But I feel like it's crazy. Like we use kettlebells all the time, and I don't know, maybe 6 months ago, like I bought a kettlebell that was like 10 pounds heavier than what we normally use. And it's like one of those things where you're like, oh, I can swing that now, right?
Oh,
and like the light ones that, you know, we were using 2 or 3 years ago, you're like, oh my God, that like weighs nothing. So I think that's also just like a kind of a feel good thing. Like, oh my gosh, I am stronger. My body can handle more. Like I'm tougher. I feel like it just makes you feel better.
Yeah.
It just gives you a little bit more confidence.
Oh, it definitely does.
In what you do.
Yeah, I mean, that's why a lot of people are cocky.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think what's the most I ever deadlifted? I think it's close to 500. The most I've ever done. But then I kind of got away from that, and then because a while ago I used to do powerlifting too.
Right.
And then I stopped doing that, and I started doing more like intense like bodybuilding,
strength,
yeah. But I've always been a hypertrophy person, but I still throw that in. So I guess I do like power building.
Right.
Not just straight powerlifting, because I get tired of those lifts too.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I like doing,
boring.
exactly, yeah. You know. I can do the same stuff, but I also want to throw in something different.
Right.
Or a different variation of it.
Yeah, I get
You know,
that.
if I'm doing bent over rows, I'll do them like different ways.
Right.
You know, underhand,
Change your grip
overhand,
up.
whatever. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I like to throw that kind of stuff in there.
Yeah.
And I used to be a lot like one muscle group per day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that's a way that a lot of people think down too. Oh, it's chest day, it's leg day, blah blah blah. They hear all that.
Thing.
Yeah.
Hashtag like
and then,
that.
Yeah. So now I'm throwing in like full body stuff.
Right.
And I just feel so much better.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not as sore in one spot as I used to be, but because I used to like that, I usually tell myself like, if I'm sore, I feel like I did something.
Right.
You know.
The pain of
but
game,
this
right?
is but this is like a different feeling. Like I feel strong.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I
strong,
feel like
sore.
Like my tendons are just like tight and just like strong. I don't know it's hard to explain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like after, like what did I do the other day? 455 or something like that deadlift.
Oof.
And I was just like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, and that's what just got me.
Yeah,
It just
it's just like a
it just gives me
confidence
that like that boost of, but it's also, I've learned over the years, it's also humbling.
Yeah.
Because I don't need to put that on anyone else. Like, no one else cares.
Right.
There's people that live 10 times more than me.
Right.
So why am I going to go brag about that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think why you work out is, hopefully, if you're doing it for the right reasons, it's for yourself.
Oh, exactly.
So I feel like it's not something, like, do the compliments that other people will totally not hurt.
Right.
Or kind of maybe give you an extra push here and there. But
right.
It's definitely, at the end of the day, it's like you kind of have to be happy with yourself and feel confident and strong and feel like you can be successful. So I think...
Exactly. Because it makes you better in other areas.
Yeah.
Not just... Because that's what... I mean... I thought I wanted to be a pro bodybuilder, but that was just a door.
Right.
That I walked through, and then it opened me up to, like, a whole bunch of different things. Mm-hmm. And, the discipline and the strength it's made me mentally goes way further than it has physically for me.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's done so much more than anything else probably could have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like any therapist could, than any
it trickles into everything in your life. So
yeah, I mean, if you let it, I mean, you can put it anywhere. You can channel that to anything. But it's funny because I wanted to. Since you're still a gym teacher, right? Like you still are phys ed. I don't know what you call it.
Phys ed.
It's phys ed.
We teach in
the gym. Is that politically correct? Yes. Yeah, it's phys ed.
That's how our professors trained us. Don't let people tell you you're a gym teacher.
Gym teacher. That's funny because like I went to Wilmington for like a year, and I went in there. I saw 3 different advisors. I was like, I just want to be a gym teacher. Like, tell me how to get there.
Yeah.
None of them knew how.
Because they don't have a program there.
I was like, I don't know. But anyway, so it was funny. I read this article, and they were talking about how, because, like a bunch of schools are taking gym out of, like as a class and stuff like that. So, and I hate that.
Yeah.
More than anything.
It kills me.
Because, some schools can use it. Like the school, I went to Red Line, and we just had, we had one teacher, we did do fitness things. But the other ones, we just used it as a study hall, and we just played around.
Right.
And I think that's...
Just like recess.
Yeah, and I think that's a big reason why it's being taken out of schools is because they're using it as like that.
Right.
But if they actually like implement a system that they, like you said, like teach basketball or teach different sports or actually do physical things and teach fitness, they can actually make it a class, and so they did like a study where they said, I don't know how good, I don't even know what they used for the study, but it said like kids aren't learning any better with gym or staying proactive with gym. I'm like, well, you're not doing it right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I loved it. When it came to gym, that was my shit.
Yeah. Hey, me too.
You know what I'm saying? Like, everything else, like, ugh. But but when it came to gym and lunch, that was like my time to shine. Like, I used to show off all the time because that was my thing.
Yeah.
And we had the one gym teacher that she was like a minor league soccer player, something like that, semi-pro. That's what it was. And she always did like fitness stuff. We did the fitness test, the state test, all that kind of thing. And I used to just show off during it because I loved it. I loved gym.
Yeah.
And I can't believe like I actually had to tutor someone so she can graduate.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's where I got started training.
Yeah.
But yeah. So what are your thoughts?
Well, I'll try to keep them PG. But it's funny.
What you gotta do? Let it all out.
Yeah, as it's my job in middle school, I take it very seriously. I take a lot of pride in what I do. And it's funny, I actually teach phys ed. Our days are like a rotating schedule, so it's like A day, B day. So on an A day, I actually teach in the health room. So I don't even set foot in the gym besides to go into my office.
Right.
And then on B day, I teach in the gym. So it's funny because I see those students in a gym setting, but I also see them in a classroom setting.
Right.
And I could talk your ear off with a list of kids that are so much more successful and have just such a different, better, positive attitude when it comes to learning, being in the gym than being in like a social studies class.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not knocking the social studies class. Like, those classes are just as important. But I think like in my profession, we constantly, and it's within every building, I know it for sure, and I'm sure it's within people that I have good relationships. I know that there's this stereotype, this stigma that like phys ed's just like the dumping grounds, like they just go there and they play.
It's like a study hall, right?
Right. And it's like, I don't think, I mean, all the studies and all the research and all the stuff that I learned in college, like, and just like you said earlier, like if I didn't have fitness, like I think other areas of my life would kind of suffer, you know, like I think it's a really strong outlet for kids. And the way that we teach at our school is we teach like lifetime activities. Like like you can throw an athletic kid in phys ed and they're going to be great at anything. Right. If they're not, they'll be fine.
Exactly.
But like we kind of cater to my best friend and I, because we have opposite schedules. So when I'm in the gym, she's in the classroom and vice versa. So like we kind of cater to those kids that are not the athletic ones. Like we want them to feel successful, and we want them to like develop skills and realize that like being physically active is not that hard, number one.
Exactly.
And there's so many different options. We literally just try to expose them to as many different things as possible. Like, I mean, we do mini golf. We have a mini golf course that we set up, an 18-hole mini golf course that we set up in the gym out of all of our phys ed equipment. Like it looks like the closets like threw up.
Right.
And sometimes those kids that like aren't athletic or aren't great at basketball, like they're like, oh my God, I got a hole in one. Like it's the little things. Like that's something that they can do until they literally die. Like, exactly. I mean, so I think if it like you said, if it's done right, I think it's good. Yeah. I know that it's not really taken seriously in some settings and some schools. I get that, but I think the district that I teach in we have a really strong supervisor at the district level that kind of is like oversees our phys ed and health program, and he's got a lot of high standards and a lot of pride in what we do. So I think that also helps too, so that we have that like, you know, higher up support. But yeah, there's definitely, I mean, to this day, there's going to be a stereotype of phys ed just playtime.
Yeah, that's stupid because you'll use that more in life than you ever. I haven't used history. I've learned everything. Actually, there's stuff in history books that isn't really correct. There's algebra.
Right. All of your math.
You know what I'm saying? What else? Like
you don't find the angles of triangles on a regular basis.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't do any of that.
Yeah.
The one thing I can find myself like by pure luck. I actually got kicked out of Algebra 2 and put in accounting. And for some reason, I did well in that class. I don't know why. It just came to me. Exactly. Yeah. And it's real life stuff. Yeah. And I just learn from life. I've never learned that well in school.
Right.
You know, and
it's got to be relevant to you, so I feel like.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people do well in school, but then don't do well in life.
Right.
So it's just like, you know, like, teach your kids what you have to teach, and that's why I'm kind of like in the middle of that argument of like, are we teaching the kids or are we teaching them to take the test?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because you need to ace the test to pass.
Yeah.
So, and that's how I was. I was like, I'm just going to do what I have to do to get out of here.
Yeah, some subjects I was the same.
Yeah.
I won't knock that.
Yeah. I mean, but some people some kids actually learn and then they go off and do well in college and all that kind of stuff. Or some kids like me do awful in school and, you know, do better in life situations. Right. You know, have more common sense and street smarts and things like that. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's interesting. We have that same, like, view on those things.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's why I do what I do. I actually don't just like show up to my job just to show up. Like I really do take like a lot of pride in what I do. And I think the kids know that, and I think that also makes it easier for them to do well for us. So
well, speaking of that, I got a couple of these kind of articles that talk about that kind of stuff.
Boy.
But let's see, which one should I start? This one's probably a little bit shorter than the other. The other one I can rant about all day. So this is so Tori Spelling's son or whatever. He's not on Instagram, but his parents are, and I guess he saw like a comment on, I think he had his dad's phone or something like that, and saw on his dad's Instagram because his dad posted this picture.
Right.
And it said, not that one, it's another one. You can get the stupid ads out of here.
I know, isn't that crazy?
I had it highlighted. Spine shaming. Reaction. Oh, right here. And they said, you feed your kids this, no wonder they're obese. So the kids saw this, and took me aside, said, Dad, am I obese? Look at him.
Yeah, definitely not.
How does that kid, how do people say that about a kid?
Right. People are ruthless, especially online. I feel like
you know what I'm saying?
Hide behind
if
stuff.
anything, talk about the shirt.
Right.
Like
that doesn't really match that suit.
Like, come on, man.
Okay. He's rocking it.
Like,
he's happy.
But yeah, man. I mean, for people on social media to talk about a kid, like, you're ridiculous. And don't talk about the parents saying like he's obese. I've seen a lot of younger kids that are way bigger than that.
Right.
You know, I had a friend.
Unhealthy.
Yeah. I had a friend who was really big when he was younger. But he got taller in middle school, and he just stretched out.
Right. Yeah.
And I was like, and you can't really like bet on that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's better to like not feed your kid everything, but understand, you know, if they're not an athlete or not like active, don't feed them everything they want. You know what I mean? That kind of thing.
Yeah, well, I think it's just finding like a balance. I mean, I'm not a parent, so I can't speak on.
Oh yeah.
I know.
But you're around kids though.
Yeah, it's like, what is the best way to do this kind of thing? Like, and every kid's different, and I think just on any person, whether it's a child or an adult, like everybody has a different build.
Yeah.
And everybody's metabolism is different. Everybody responds differently to different stuff. So it's just, yeah, I just think that people that knock other people, whether it be a child or an adult on social media, is just like insane to me. Like, yeah, it's just nuts. Some people are.
It's because everyone thinks they're right. They're like, especially parents, they think they have the best way to do it.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's why. If I ever have a kid and someone tells me how to raise my kid,
yeah, well, that's nobody's business.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Unless you're harming the kid.
Right.
But look at this kid's actually happy, so I'm sure his parents give him a great life since they're famous and everything. Right. So like, they just need to hop off, and it's annoying.
That's crazy.
You know, because then you But that brings me to this story because, so let me get it out of that one. Not that one. Not that one. Did you ever see this? No. So it was 2017. It was this documentary. And I couldn't remember what it was called. It's called The Student Body. You watch Netflix and stuff at all?
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, really good. I love documentaries. I love watching, especially when they make this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I hated What the Health. I think it was bullshit, but anyway.
I'll check that out.
Yeah.
I'm sure I agree with you.
But yeah, so this was called A Student Body. It was actually done by a little girl. Let me see if it says how old she is, or was at the time. I know she's a lot older now. I think she was like... I thought I said it on here. 6th grader.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, at the beginning of the school year or something, they were getting their BMI done. And it would go to them in their report cards.
What?
And saying if they're obese. Yeah.
Wow.
And so, she did this. It was just a project for school or whatever. And it became this Netflix documentary.
Wow.
That this little girl did, 6th grader.
Yeah.
And so she went to like her governor or senator or something like that, and she asked all these like people in charge she brought a scale with her. She said, "Can you step on a scale? I want to take your BMI." And they all said no.
Right.
I'm like, oh, you guys are saying no, but you're making these little kids do it?
Yeah, that's crazy.
You know what I mean? And one, because I want to show people like I don't know if anyone watches this or whatever, to an example. So, okay, so what am I? So I'm about 205 and 5 feet 9 inches.
Right.
30.3. I'm obese.
Yeah. I'm technically overweight on the BMI scale.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And then looking at both of us, we're not obese.
I don't think
like
so.
We're not overweight.
I would not
I would not call myself that. Like,
or you?
Yeah, a lot of my family is like that, and I'm definitely not. But that's just crazy to me. How you go by that number at all,
or even
for anything.
Document that
For anything. I don't even care what it is, but especially a kid.
No, I just think we don't even take there's a portion of our fitness testing that we have to do with our 7th graders, and there's a portion on there that says body composition. So obviously the easiest way to take somebody's one measurement of body composition is to weigh them. That is something that, since I've worked in that district, we've never done.
Yeah.
Because it's just something that there isn't. Because I'm sure you feel the same way. There's, like, your weight doesn't define you, I also think. Exactly. And I think something like the BMI, I always tell people, like, oh my God, I hate the BMI. BMI scale doesn't take into account
how
much muscle you have to fat, how much water you have. Like,
there's activity that you do.
There's a lot of different
many things. Oh my gosh.
So I don't think that your weight defines you. And I just think that it's definitely hard to understand that, especially if you're going through a process where you are trying to lose weight. There were so many times, like, it's funny you put in 205 because that was my heaviest weight. So when I started my journey back right before my 23rd birthday, I was 205. I went to the doctor, and they have to weigh you at the doctor, and I was like, holy smokes.
Yeah.
So that's something that it was not hard. It was not easy for me to lose weight, but I felt like there were some weeks where I lost a pound or a pound and a half, and then some weeks I went up a pound and a half. So it's like the scale and that number, I think sometimes can be like somebody's arch nemesis.
Right.
And I just think it shouldn't be something that defines you. I think it's just about how you feel and how healthy your body is.
Right.
So I think that's crazy that they took the kid's BMI and put it on a report card. I would never.
Yeah. I mean, and then you had kids coming home saying, oh, I'm obese.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because you have people, and this quote says, the decisions that are being made at a government level without any input from experts.
Right. There's no, you don't understand what... I mean, I think I do, because I was in a state where I was incredibly unhappy and well overweight and not healthy. And I just think that putting a label on a small child, just, first of all, it shouldn't have to happen for anybody, but especially at that young of age, that's just too much for.
And that's going to tattoo. That's going to tattoo in their brain to say I'm overweight, and so the rest of their life they're going to look at their body saying, "Oh, it's not good enough." It's not
just totally puts.
Because that's the way I am. Even
bad
now,
headspace. Yeah.
Even now, I'm still saying "Oh, I'm not where I want to be. I'm not where I want to be." All this kind of thing.
I'm in the same boat right now.
Yeah.
I'm in a stage right now because I feel like I fluctuate throughout the year, every year. The seasons I fluctuate, and it's I'm not at the weight that I'm really happy with, but then I try to remind myself, well, I can still run pretty good. I can still throw around some kettlebells. I can do this. I'm still feel healthy and strong. So I think sometimes you just have to, check yourself.
Oh, but definitely.
Some people don't have that mental strength to do that though.
Right.
Or know that you are okay.
Yeah.
So.
But it's funny, all this stuff is kind of leading. I didn't even do this on purpose, but all this stuff is kind of leading into each other. So with this, I don't know if you saw this on Instagram or not. This made me tear up.
Oh gosh, am I gonna cry? Okay,
probably.
Right here.
No.
I could. Oh, I did see this. It gives me chills right now. It's crazy.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let me see that.
That's crazy. I literally just got chills. And I even saw this. Like a few days ago.
It doesn't matter how many times I watch it because I just I know that feeling. You know what I mean? Like trying to do something over and over and over, and then you finally get it. Especially someone like that.
Yeah, who's totally has everything going against him.
Exactly.
Yeah, physically.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's cool.
You know, and then I think people that like look at it and they're like, "Oh, what? It's just a boy jumping on a box." You have no idea what that means.
No, I don't even. You and I don't even know what that means for him.
There's people
like on an individual level.
Well, you can tell, but that's what lets you in is when you see him like start to cry.
Right.
Because like, oh my God, it's something that is probably deemed impossible for him.
Right.
And like I read more of this, and it was talking about like there's so much more footage of him trying before this.
Oh, I believe it. Yeah.
Like he was trying for like 20 minutes or something. Oh my gosh, that's nothing. Yeah. It's not like it's a little step up thing.
Yeah.
No,
I mean for me that takes some hoof.
Yeah, you still got it. Yeah. And then with no arms to get that any like momentum.
Right. I was just looking at that. Yeah. I always look at myself in the mirror if I do a box jump, and my arms always come back.
Oh yeah, it's momentum. Yep.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just love stuff like that. Like there's another video of this kid with like cerebral palsy or something like that, and he like deadlifted. Was he
lifting? Yes.
And he deadlifted. I saw that one. And there's someone that commented like, "Oh, that's not very good looking or not good form or something." I'm like,
did they like strapped him into like an anchor, right?
Yeah. Yeah. They kept him stiff.
Right, but like got him out of his chair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, what?
Yeah. Well, how is that even a
comment? Form? This dude can't even walk.
Right.
Like, what are you talking about?
That's awesome that he can lift that.
Exactly. The fact that he just did that is, it's just on another level.
He feels so proud that he's like upright.
Yeah. And it's just those kind of moments. Like I know those coaches and stuff there, like they're probably not the most in shape. They didn't look like it. But that's a camp for like people that have like misformed limbs or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But
yeah, it's pretty cool.
New ability. But yeah, man. I mean, I love that stuff.
Yeah.
And then this was just something. Do you see this?
No. I did go to Yellowstone Park. There's bison are big out there.
And they can get bothered in a moment's notice.
The girl, what started as a family's awe-inspiring encounter, turned to horror in a matter of seconds.
Oh my God.
So this is the thing I don't think people are looking at though. So watch this. I don't know if this is this girl's family. Where are they at? See, look.
Oh, yeah.
See? Looks like she's running after her parents. Her parents said, nope, you can fend for yourself.
Right. Oh, my.
They left her.
That's crazy.
She got wrecked. And people are just laughing at this like it's nothing.
Ugh.
Like, don't mess with bison, blah, blah, blah. Look at her.
Jesus.
The shocking video taken close to Yellowstone's famous Old Faithful geyser, where wild bison graze in clusters.
Bison can be aggressive. They move quickly, and they can get bothered in a moment's notice.
The girl rushed to a nearby.
Look at that. That is crazy.
Oh my gosh.
That thing flew her in the air.
Bison attacks in Yellowstone are rare. It's not the first time tourists have gotten.
See, I don't feel bad for that. People doing that stuff.
Yeah.
See,
and I saw that on purpose. Yeah, in person.
That's ridiculous.
Or moose, and more than 300 feet from bears or wolves.
They're wild animals, and they're huge. They can kill you.
Yeah, because you're in their space.
Right.
50 people were standing just feet from the bison before it started charging.
Yeah, that's
Getting
nuts.
close to wildlife is not a smart idea. And I know everybody
Yeah,
wants to
look,
do that.
just because you want a picture, that's what I'm zooming for.
Or stay in your car. That's what we did.
Park officials have so far decided not to issue citations to the girl's family, and as of now, the incident remains under investigation.
Wow, that's wild.
That's crazy. That's another thing. Like, people just irritate me. Like,
some people just don't use their brains.
They don't, especially when it comes to
go through
animals.
life.
Especially when it comes to animals, I'm just like, you know, I feel bad for them. Like, I feel for them, but I also, like, I know that we're in their space.
Right.
You know, there's a lot of places, like, where I work, we're allowed around, like, a lot of woods area, and I'm outside all day. And I've seen, like, skunks and fox and all these different animals, and I'm just waiting for a coyote to show up because there's tons of deer. And people are like, oh, I'll kill those skunks or what. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
They're not hurting you.
Right.
Just don't get near it.
Just like they don't.
I love seeing them coming out. Yeah, I love seeing them come out at night because they're more scared of you than you are of it. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I've become more sensitive to animals as I got older. Cause I used to like want to go hunting and stuff.
Yeah.
But now I'm not. Like, other people can do it. I don't care.
Right. It's just not for you.
Yeah, not for me.
I'm
do
the
it.
Same.
Can't do it. I'll still eat meat though, but I'm not watching those videos.
Right. No.
You know, I had someone send me a video, and it was like a cow getting like grinded up or whatever. I was like, nope, not watching it.
Yeah,
Sorry.
No.
You know,
not about that life.
No, man. I mean, like, whatever, like, vegans or vegetarians want to do, whatever. You know, I don't care.
Right.
You know, but
I'll never be one.
No. I mean, I eat the way I want to eat. That's all I know. That's all I know. I don't eat a certain way. You know, I eat what I want to eat.
Right.
You know, I mean, during the week while I'm working and stuff, I restrict my calories, but other than that,
yeah.
You know, that's why I say
food.
That's why it's funny because, like, when I was training people, they're like, "Oh, you get to eat this, this, and this." I was like, do as I say, not as I do.
Right.
Because one, we're two different people.
Right.
We put out a certain amount of energy.
Different for every single.
You know what I'm saying? I probably put out more energy than you, and they're like, "Oh, why do you do that? Why aren't you training me like that?" I'm like, "You don't want me to train you like that."
Our bodies are just different.
I'm like, yeah, we're just so different. Yeah. But oh man, yeah. But it was good having you on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And you know, I'm glad like we agree on a lot of stuff. But it was fun talking to you, and I was really like interested because it was funny that Heather brought that stuff up because I never knew any of that about you. I knew you were like a phys ed teacher and stuff like that, but I didn't know you did like all the running and is into working out as you are, and that's cool as anything.
It's been a journey. It's still a journey. Every day is
it's always going to be a journey.
Every day's a new day. So
yeah, I mean, as long as you can keep it up and then you can help other people, you know what I'm saying? Like,
that's the goal.
I mean, I would definitely push you and your friend to like start something.
We've talked about it.
Yeah. I mean,
we definitely have the tools for it and definitely have the heart for it. So
yeah, I mean, people do so many things now, and like you never know where it's going to take you.
Yeah, and I feel like it's almost like the same thing as teaching. Like, you know, you can teach 360 kids in a year, and it's like if you reach one of them, I feel like I did my job.
Exactly.
So I think her and I had the same like, you know, outlook on that in terms of like just doing something as simple as like those fitness classes with the teachers we work with. Like, if one person got something out of it, we did our job.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's all it really takes, you know, because then that one person, like, it trickles down.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, that one person puts it out, and they end up. I see that in yoga more than anything, though.
Yoga's great.
Which is weird.
I love yoga.
Like, we went to this girl's house. And she has like yoga there. It was supposed to be hot yoga, but she just had heaters, and it wasn't really that hot. So I was like, okay, some warm yoga, okay.
Right,
like I'm sweating anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But I forgot Heather told me like she like massages you a little bit when you're like in a certain pose. Mm-hmm. So I was laying there, and she started feeling my back, and I looked at Heather like real quick, and she was like sleeping.
Savasana. It's my favorite part.
Chick's like massaging me. I'm like, oh, was she supposed to do that?
Right.
And I was like, oh yeah, Heather told me about that. But that was weird. Kind of felt weird because
yoga's definitely it's different everywhere you go, I think.
Yeah.
But I definitely love it.
I feel the same everywhere I go though. Every time I do it, I feel the same.
Yeah.
Because I'm still stretching. No, I feel good. Yeah. It's a good feeling. Because I never stretch. I'm not a stretcher.
I'm not really either.
You know, yeah. I mean, I should do it.
Yeah. I know to do it.
Yeah. I like foam rolling more. I feel it's more effective.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, I just lay on the floor and foam roll while I'm watching.
My stretching is getting water after I just died.
Oh yeah.
So.
But yeah, I mean, it was fun. It was fun learning more about you.
Thank you.
I mean, even though like you met me at the same time my wife met me.
Right.
Like it was weird.
I think I'm a good luck charm.
Yeah.
We were just there scoping you out that night.
Yeah, for real.
We called in the reinforcements.
All right.
Well,
but anyway,
yeah. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
All right. This is the Strong Tower Podcast. We're out. Peace.